Hello, everyone, and welcome to Co-Creation Station, the podcast where we talk about spiritual magic, law of attraction, how to best enjoy your journey of life. My name is Collin. I am a life coach, tarot and oracle card reader, and medium.
My name is Stephanie, and I am a transformational life coach, and I help people shift away from negative thinking, and it transforms their lives.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you're listening to the audio version, thank you for watching us. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, if you enjoy our show and feel called to, please like us and subscribe to us. We would greatly appreciate your support. It helps us a lot. Every week here on Co-Creation Station, we talk about a different topic. And today, the topic is...
Only human. Did we have another topic for a title
No.
for that?
It is that. That's the topic. I just didn't know if how we were gonna title the topic.
This is okay. Let's title this.
Right now, I'm making up all the titles for the like
Yeah.
after we do it, because then I know like what it was about.
Okay. Well, this is an art of allowing story. This is totally an art of allowing story. It's the only human art of allowing story. I mean, what else? What do you think?
My question, I think like most of the titles have just sort of naturally felt like questions to me. Like the episode 1 was what is the art of allowing, which is kind of what we covered. I think is episode 4 is a couple weeks ago is how do oracle and tarot cards work, which I think we covered. So I was wondering, like, for me, this story is like, how crazy can the magic get?
Ooh.
Because
this
was crazy.
This was off the freaking charts.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that one. Yay.
So should I start and just tell about the song, and then you can pick up where?
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right. So I'm in a band called Red Treasure. I write the songs. I play guitar and sing, and we were on our way to writing the material for our first album, which was only like 4 songs. But in the midst of that period, I had writer's block for songwriting, which I can't remember ever having before. One of the most freely flowing things for my whole life, not just since I learned about the law of attraction, the art of allowing, but pretty much since I started, is that I've just been able to write songs very easily. And I'm very grateful for that. I don't take it for granted. But I had a writer's block, and it's because I had a really bad breakup. Short version of that story. And it was really bothering me because, like, I just naturally write songs, like, all the time. Like, or I don't always, like, write a whole song, but I'm just writing musical parts and, like, 4 lines of lyrics or whatever, like, all the time. Like, I'm always doing that. And it's not anything I have to, like, force myself to do or make time. It just usually happens. I'm in the shower and I get an idea and I have to run and write it down. Anyway, so this period I was really not writing, and it just really started to bother me. And so I don't remember how I found her, but I found this creativity coach. And she had a really interesting, like, offer. It was like, it was something like $150 for 1 issue, and we could talk for as long as I wanted.
Wow.
It was like,
holy cow.
And I think it's like, it's one of those things like, well, what if you talked for 12 hours? But I think it's like most people are going to, she's confident she could get somebody somewhere in, maybe this is what we were just talking about with your value-based thing.
I know.
Before the show.
That's like a whole nother subject.
How did I call back / segue to the pre-show? Anyway, another episode. But anyway, so I think I think we talked for about 2 hours. We met at this outdoor table at a coffee shop in North Hollywood where I live. And, she ran me through a lot of questions about what was going on and everything. And essentially what she helped me realize was that I hadn't processed all the feelings around the breakup. Like I had put a stopper in them a little bit, which surprised me because I knew intellectually that, if you go through a breakup, there's a lot of feelings there. You need to feel them. You need to let them out. But she was right. I was keeping them in, and I think the reason I had the writer's block was because I really wanted to write about that breakup, the relationship, and the hopes and the dreams of it, and then the disappointment and the heartache and all that. But
you
I
just
knew that I would
allow
have
yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was gonna face like a geyser of grief, really, mainly sadness,
Yeah.
pain, hurt,
Yeah.
grief,
Yeah.
woundedness, not fun things.
Yeah.
Um, but her suggestion was spot on, and she was just like, first of all, let go of whether you're gonna write a song about this relationship in the near future or not. Like maybe you will, maybe you won't. The important thing for you as an artist is that in a creative soul is you just need to get this stuff out. So she was just like, get your journal out first thing in the morning every day and just write about just that until you can't write anymore.
Oh, cool.
And I
I
was
like
like,
that.
that sounds kind of hard and uncomfortable.
No, thank
Yeah, like,
you.
could I also bash my head with a hammer on it? Like,
I gotta do this
anyway.
the first thing in the morning.
But it was really, it's interesting because a lot of the coaching I do is around creativity and letting people who are blocked creatively like get their stuff out. And it was a really helpful lesson for me because it was that thing of like, because part of the act, I think what my subconscious was doing is thinking about the song about the relationship as this is going to be my public presentation
Oh, yeah.
of my side of the story,
Yeah.
and therefore I have to get it exactly right, and I can't let anybody see any weakness in me, or I can't be nasty to the person that broke up with me, or whatever,
Yeah.
like I have to present it in this way. And that was a block. Like that's sort of putting this like sort of restriction on something before you've even tapped the
Yeah.
faucet and
Yeah.
anything's come out. So anyway, she was saying that what she thought I should do was just like, get up, journal. And she's like, eventually you will. And she's like, it's not going to take a month. Like, she's like, I don't think it'll take a week. Like, if you just write every morning, you'll get it all out and it'll be done.
Yeah.
And she's like, at that point, then you can either write the song or not, but you won't be blocked anymore. You'll be able to write other songs. Maybe you'll write
Yeah.
about this relationship 2 years from now when you have more distance on it or something.
Right.
But like, you'll be unblocked as a songwriter. So I did what she said. Long story short, it was super uncomfortable and painful, but it was also very, I don't know, healing. Like
Yeah, I'm
it
sure.
definitely, because I had not told people, even though I have a lot of trusted friends and people I trust with that kind of intimacy and stuff like that, I hadn't really let it rip. I was really angry. I was really hurt. I really felt like someone had, kind of like bailed on a relationship that had a lot of potential, a lot of really great stuff in it, and they just bailed out of fear. Like they were just afraid of getting any closer to me emotionally, so they just bailed. And I hadn't let myself really verbalize that anger. So the journaling, just like writing, I literally like almost every day my right arm would hurt at the end. I don't know how long I wrote, but it was just like I literally would like stop just because my arm was tired.
Well, sure, you're just like, all that
Yeah.
emotion is in your arm, and yeah.
There's so many. I think I still have it somewhere. I don't know where, but like, there's so many pages that are just like gigantic. Like, I only put 4 words on the page. Like,
Yep.
this wasn't fair.
Yeah.
You were just scared.
Yeah.
Um, and other more colorful words.
Yes, I was gonna say I've
But
done that many a times.
what's amazing about that is that I was totally ready to write the song after that, which I was trying to practice what she had said, which I thought was very wise. Is like, don't put the pressure
Yeah.
on this either, that you have to write the song about it immediately after.
And I love what you said, and I wrote it down because it's kind of pertinent to where I'm at in my life and what I'm walking through right now. And you said, let go.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to let it rip. I had to really let it rip. I had to let go of trying to control the presentation of my feelings and my thoughts and all that. I just had to, and that's what journaling can really do. Like, even you might have feelings that, like, if you really verbalize it, even your closest friends don't want to hear that crap, but
Yeah.
you got to get it out, as a
Right.
human. It's like, if you keep anything we keep in and don't process or let flow, it bugs us later.
Well, and I always tell clients and friends is like, journaling is one of the least expensive forms of therapy that exists.
Yeah, seriously.
And there's been times when I've been like you were saying, like I'll start off because I'll be really angry, like,
Yeah.
and 2 or 3 pages in, I'm like, thank you, God, la la la, and I'm like I start off in 10 and rage or anger or whatever, and then I end up in love, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's great. So
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So, but it turns out that I was ready to write the song, and it literally just can't. I picked up my guitar.
Mm.
Again, the songs that people that like my music like the most are always the simplest ones. I'm always so like insecure about the simplicity of the music, and then it's
Hmm.
like those are the ones people like the most. Um, but it was a very simple, little chord progression that I came up with on my acoustic guitar, and then the lyrics really just poured out, and it was really this miracle to me because it was just like this crystallization of, I don't even know, 80 pages of journaling, but it
Yeah.
crystallized into these whatever 3 verses and a chorus and a bridge, I guess. And it was like, oh, that's really kind of this distilled poetic version of what I vomited onto the pages, for
Mm.
8 days straight or however long I did it.
Mm.
And the thing that was really great about it was, the song is called Only Human. Um, and the thing that really struck me about it was one of the reasons I was blocked, one of the reasons why it was hard to get in touch with the feelings was, I don't know if it's the first time ever, but it was definitely the biggest time ever that I had anger at my ex and hurt from my ex for her breaking up with me and everything. But I also had a tremendous amount of compassion and empathy for her and what
Mm.
she had gone through, because I
Mm.
learned a lot about what she was struggling with mentally and emotionally in her
Mm.
life with her,
Oh.
childhood trauma and stuff. But that was what
Mm.
made it very hard to try to present, because those seemed like opposites to me. Like, I either have to be upset at her or I have to
Right.
be in this forgiving,
Yeah.
understanding place. And what was
Yeah.
really going on is I had both.
Right. Yeah.
And so
Beautiful.
what's always struck me about what I like, everybody takes their own thing from it, but what I like about the lyrics is that it there's vitriol in there. Like, that the narrator of the song is not happy about what happened, but there's also like compassion and empathy, for the
Yeah.
for the person that did
I do hear
wrong.
that in the
Yeah,
song. Yeah.
yeah. So, I was very excited, but I really wanted to. I just wrote it on like acoustic guitar, and I did the vocal melody, and I did the lyrics, and then I was like, that it was, Red Treasure tends to be a loud, hard rock, punk rock, grunge kind of band, and I was like, this is different. This is like
Yeah.
pretty. It's sad. It's acoustic now. Maybe we'll do it with electrics, but I don't even know how that would work. So I contacted my good friend and music collaborator Corey Landis.
Okay, so we're going to pause
Yeah.
here
Oh,
because
okay.
this
Yeah.
is where our story comes in. Well,
Oh,
this
okay.
is the next step of the story. So then
All
I
right.
remember you had written it and you were living in LA by
Yep.
this time and you would, because you have such a strong connection to San Diego, you would drive down once or twice a month.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
you're like, I'm coming down. So we made plans to get together. And you're like, I wrote
Ah.
this song, Only Human, and I want to play it for you. I'm going to bring my guitar. And I'm like, okay. And so we met, and then we went to Old Town because we always love Old Town Mexican Cafe.
Yes.
Collin loves his bean burritos. And, and
I
I love
can't
their,
believe I can't believe that didn't come out until episode 7 or whatever we're at. I
and
can't
I
believe that
love
wasn't
Old Town Mexican
episode
Cafe's
1 material.
beans. Oh my god. And their flour tortillas homemade. And so we go there and we have lunch, and then afterwards we go over, I think it's called Heritage Park.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lovely little park with all these older homes, 1800, early 1900 style homes, and we go, nice little park setting, and we start walking onto the grass and we see this gazebo off in the distance. And so we go over there. It's very private, not a lot of people around. And so Collin gets out his guitar, and I'm sitting there on the brick wall, and you start playing your song and singing, and I'm just like, I'm blown away. It's beautiful. And I don't remember if no, I didn't dance. I just sat there and listened, and it was like,
Yeah.
wow.
I have a memory of that day that's really funny because I actually had written 2 songs. I was clearly more jazzed about Only Human, but I'd written this other one that I really liked, and I don't even remember which one that was. And I remembered, like, I played Only Human for you first, and you kind of flipped out. And I was like, oh, I have another one. And you're like, okay. And I play the other one, and you're like, that first song was amazing. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. At least I like
second one, not so much.
But I was over the top in
Yeah.
love with the first one, so that
Yeah.
made up for this not digging the second one.
Yeah, I don't remember what the second one was.
I know.
Maybe
I'm like
that's,
trying to think what it was too. I
yeah.
don't know. Um,
But
so that was cool. So that was my first, because you had just written it. You really hadn't shared it
yeah.
with anyone.
No.
And
That's right. You were the first person that heard it. I was thinking, I think I've even told the story that Corey was the second person, or the first person, but he was the second.
yeah,
You were the first.
no, yeah, because Corey comes in later.
Yes.
So I loved it. It was beautiful, and I think it was really the first time that you played a song for me, like something. Yeah, it was the first time I ever, yeah, heard you perform. Yeah, so thank you. And it,
Yeah.
yeah, I freaking love this song. So I just think it's so beautiful the way that whole thing happened. And then okay, so then now you decide there's something here. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's powerful, the lyrics, then just all the emotion, like the story you just told, the whole
Mm-hmm.
meaning behind it. And then you decide you're going to record it, like Red Treasure's going to record it.
No, not right away. I mean, I figured we would, but I think at the time of the story that we're at right now, I still was that was down the road, kind of.
Okay.
What I knew I wanted was to involve, another instrument. I was really struggling with like, just the fact that it was. I mean, and people,
So different.
whenever I say this, everybody's like, "What are you worried about?" Every hard rock band has their ballads, like has their acoustic numbers. Like, what were you worried about? And I'm just like, it's not that I was worried. It's just like the band was still very new at that point, and we had not done anything that was like that. Every song we did was loud, banging, screaming kind of stuff, So I just was like, where does this fit in? It reminds me of the story of Under the Bridge, the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, because Anthony Kalaitis, I always forget how to say his last name, but the lead singer wrote that song and he didn't bring it to the band because he thought it was too different than their style. And Rick Rubin, their record producer, happened to be at his apartment, and like he had the lyrics like out on the kitchen table or something.
Oh wow.
And Rick Rubin like picked it up and was like, "You are recording this." And he's like, "No, it's not Red Hot Chili Peppers." He goes like, "You're recording this."
Right. That's awesome.
And it's been their biggest hit ever. Like it's still their biggest hit. So it's similar to that in some ways, but yeah, so I just, instead of bringing it into rehearsal with Gabriel, who's my drummer and bass player, I went to Corey Landis, who's our, he's not a official member of the band, but he plays piano on all our records, basically. And
kicks a major ass.
Yeah. And I went to him, and he hadn't. There were no plans to play piano with Corey at that point for the band. But I went to him because I was like, this is like a pretty sad song, and I just think it's got to have something other than loud guitar, loud drums, and me yelling at the top of my lungs. So I went over to Corey's. He at the time had a little house. Maybe he still lives there in Glenburn. And he has his piano in the main room, and he was like, "All right, let's just do it," And I hit record on my iPhone, the little voice memo recorder, and we did one run through, and I think I fucked it up somehow. I can't remember exactly. And then, but we had it, like he he's brilliant, so.
And so you sang, and he played keyboard.
I sang and played my acoustic guitar.
Okay.
I sang and played acoustic guitar, I think, and he played piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so we did a second run through of it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's it." Like that was really, like, that was musically how the song really felt like it should go.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, we'll figure out the drums and the bass and everything, but it's definitely gonna have this piano or something like this piano part in it, and it can have guitar. And I think at that point we knew, like, oh no, actually, I forgot about this. I at some point I said to Corey, like, oh, we can't do electric guitar with this, right? Like, I got to keep it acoustic. He's like, no, you should plug it in. And I was like, but isn't it going to, just dominate everything? Like, this is one of these songs where you really need to hear the words. You need to hear the piano. And he's like, yeah, well, turn it down. That's what mixing is for. He's like, all right. Right. The guitar doesn't always have to be at 11. It can be at 4 if we want. So yeah, but that's when, so now on my iPhone in LA, I have a recording of it it's just an open air recording that we did in one take, but it's me singing and playing acoustic guitar and Corey playing piano in his house. Okay. And so then I go to San Diego the next month to visit you.
So you're like, oh, I recorded Only Human with Corey and I want to play it for you. I'm coming down. I'm like, okay. So we make another date and we go to our spot and I was like, okay, we'll go to the gazebo. And I remember I had my my Bose iPod dock. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring it because I want to be able to hear it. We can play it loud. Mm-hmm. And so they had at the gazebo, they had like an electrical outlet. And so I bring it, we set everything up. And I remember the brick wall, the gazebo set up. So the brick wall, if you sit on the brick wall, I'm looking out to all the grassy area. Mm-hmm. And so
which for everybody else that wasn't there, looks kind of like you could, it's not, the gazebo's not in like a town square kind of setup. It's at the edge of this field. So it looks like a small band or a couple of singers or something could set up on the gazebo and could play to actually a fairly large crowd.
Yeah,
because several hundred people. It's a
grass
big field.
Is huge. Yeah.
But the whole time we're there's no one. It's just you and me.
No one around. Yeah, there's like maybe like 5 or 10 other people, but they're over more towards the buildings, which is pretty far. Would you say like 400 feet away from us or something? So we're
I was gonna say about 100 yards, 150
yards. Yeah, so we just pretty much have the whole park to ourselves in this gazebo that's off towards the edge, and so we set it up.
We're on the global internet, so 100 meters or 150 meters. Okay. Always trying.
And so we set it up. Collin sets it up, and I get the case out and everything, and we're setting everything up. And his back is to the grass, so he's looking at me, and we start playing Only Human. And I had my remote, and I'm just kept pressing the button for it to go louder and louder. And I know at that point you were getting a little uncomfortable. You're like,
I was not a little. It was so loud because the thing that was helping me with my like not feeling weird that we're doing this thing in public is that there was nobody around. So as long as we didn't get too loud, no one would know this ever happened. And you just, speaking of turning it to 11, you just cranked it. And it was blaring. Yeah,
and so I love music. I love music. I don't want to hear it. And my Bose dock, if anybody owns Bose, it's like freaking awesome. And so I just like crank it up, and it's beautiful. And I start dancing in the gazebo. The gazebo's what? It's a decent size. It's not huge, but
we definitely should have gone down there and done some measurements before this podcast.
It's probably like 12 by 12.
I think it's about 4 meters, 4 square meters.
Thank you, darling. And I start dancing because the song is so danceable the way, you've created it. And I dig it. It's one of my favorite songs over at Treasure Band. And you're just watching me, and I could tell you're a little uncomfortable. And I'm dancing, and I'm kind of, and then off in the distance, I see 2 women with 5 little girls, and they're ranging between like maybe 7 and 10. And they've got these beautiful little dresses on, and they look like they're going to a party or something. They're just adorable, like it's Easter Sunday or something. Just like,
honestly, they cute. Looked to me like they stepped directly out of a period film. Mm-hmm. Like those dresses were, to me, it was like Pride and Prejudice or something. Like I was like, what event did they go to? Like,
so they're off in the distance, and they hear the music, and they're like looking at me, and they hear the music, and I could see it in there, and I'm just kind of dancing. I'm watching in the distance, and I could tell they're like, we want to go over there. Like, what's going on over there? And so they start running towards the gazebo, towards us. And they're just, and then the two women follow them, and they're just standing there watching us. And they're like 6 or 7 feet away from us. And I tell Collin, and I'm still dancing, the song's going. I go, Collin, I go, there's people behind you watching. And you're just like,
Panic,
and
panic.
the girls are like, they are so excited. I could tell, like, there was one of them, she looked like the oldest, and she was just like, I could see it in her eyes, like she wanted to come up on stage with me and dance. And I'm like, I like start motioning toward, I'm like, it's okay, come on up, join me, come on. And they're like, okay. And she gets up, and then the rest follow her. And they're on stage with me dancing to this song. And Only Human is about this woman whose heart is breaking and she can't allow a love in. And it was like, here I am, this adult, dancing that part of this woman who just wants, and then these little girls come up on stage as if it's her inner child.
Mm.
And it's like, here we are on the stage and we're dancing, and they're like, and then I could tell one was a little shy and she was meek, but the other one was like dancing with me. And here we are on the stage, and Collin was just like, I can't believe this. And I'm like, I think I had said to you, you need to record this, and you get out your phone and you record it. We would have played it for you all, but we never got consent from the parents. Never even thought about it in the moment. Like, the song ended, we said goodbye, they left, and we just sat there like, what just happened? Like, our mind was
It
blown.
ended so quickly, like, and I don't think they ran off, but it was just one of those things of like,
It
it was such
ended.
a wonderful and yet strange and like unexpected, doesn't cover it, that it's like the song ended, they got off the gazebo, and like you and I had a moment of like, what just happened? I felt like I turned around and they were gone.
Well,
Like
we
it was
said we
literally
said
like,
goodbye, and they said
yeah,
bye, and they said thank you, and we said thank you, and it was beautiful. We all had this moment. I remember the
yeah.
women watching, and they were just like, wow. The kids were like overjoyed, dancing in their dresses, and you know, and I welcomed them. I was like, of course, like, come on. You know, a lot of times we see something and we want to do it, but we're just like, we can't. And I was just like, come on board, like, join me. And they did. And they were at that age where they just allowed themselves to. They just
Mm.
needed permission. And I said yes. And they joined me. And it was beautiful. And I remember we walked away. We were just like so high and just so shocked. And then we just sat in your car. I remember getting, because I love trains, and over by the train is on the trolley track, and the train track is down below, and so the horn blares, and we can hear it from there. And I remember when we that whole experience got done, the train came in and the horn blew, and I was like, oh my god! And we just sat in your car. We drove away. We went, and I think you took me to my car because we had driven up to the park in your car, and then you took me
Yeah.
to my car, and we just sat there and just kind of like talked about what had just happened, like,
Yeah.
and we're like, that's a video, that is the video for this song. Like, it was so spirit, like, or we what's amazing. Oh,
Yeah, and just to say, like, we've talked about trying to recreate it as a music video with actual actors, child actors and things. And just logistically, financially, it just hasn't worked out for us. But
yet.
um, I think the cool thing about it was like and I do feel bad for anybody watching this who um, can't see the actual video, because everybody in the band and who's friends with the band and like people who know us, we've been able to share it with them. Um, and it's this really wild thing. I think the video is more just proof that this amazing thing happened. It's like somehow you were present enough in all this crazy magic to say, turn your record button on, buddy. And I was somehow still sane enough to do what you said. And, we actually have proof that this happened. But I think for me, that is one of the greatest demonstrations of the law of attraction, art of allowing, that I've ever witnessed, because it was literally like, you were just so open, relaxed, having fun, enjoying yourself, free, no resistance within you, that you literally summoned like little dancing nymphs from the woods, and they like it's literally like what it was. It's like they just like and then they just like came up and danced with you, and then they like flitted off into the woods. And
Mm.
I've just never witnessed. I mean, I've seen a lot of miracles from law of attraction and art of allowing in my life. Don't get me wrong, but that was the probably still the biggest one for me, where it was just like, how did that even happen? That like,
So art of allowing, right?
yeah,
So I love music. Oh,
yeah,
let's back up for a second. So I'm with my friend who we always like we bring out the best in each other. We always laugh and play. We like
yeah,
my little girl, your little boy. We just we just have fun. We bring out the best in each other, and then we get together. You're doing what you love, which is playing music, and
mhm,
and so you share that with me. I love music. I love to dance.
mhm,
So it's just like so much good stuff in there. Just like, and the energy of that is just like so high that
yeah.
whoever was a match to that just came on board, and it was this beautiful experience that we'll remember forever. And
Yeah, I mean, for me, not to get all, I don't know, overly
go for
poetic,
it.
but
Let's just do it.
it really did. And I don't know how it actually works. Like, I don't know how the law of gravity actually works. I mean, there are formulas you could reteach me that I'm sure I learned in, high school physics class about how law of gravity actually works. But I can't tell you, I can't explain. I mean, even like actual physics professors at universities right now, they can talk to you about what they've discovered about it, but we don't understand, like, well, how did it even begin? How
And
did
why do
gravity
they
begin?
even
Like,
know? Because
yeah,
we use electricity all the time, and I don't sit there and try to
yeah,
explain it, or nor do I need to know about it. I
yeah.
just use it. So
But I mean, there's things about, like, even you can talk, even if you're knowledgeable from a scientific standpoint, you can talk about the wave that creates, the electricity and everything. But it's like, well, where did that wave come from, and how did it, start
who
there, whatever.
cares? It
So,
works. We love it. We need it. We
yeah.
want it. Let's
But it really,
benefit from it.
it felt to me like there was literally an artistic director kind of person watching you dance, and it was like, you know what we need? We need little girls in period Easter Sunday dresses to come in and dance with her. That would make this a much more beautiful moment of life for everyone involved.
So we need
And
to
like
play the
literally like
song.
sprinkled fairy dust over the field, and they just arrived, and then flitted off.
It was beautiful. So let's play the song. Can we do that? So that
I don't know.
so that
I'll have to talk to the songwriter, see if we can get the rights.
people can hear, well, first of all, hear this amazing song, but
Yeah.
then also from the story that we've told, from what you've shared about your experience, can hear the lyrics. And
Mhm.
then I'll just imagine, like, because it's every time I played it, before you recorded it,
Mhm.
um, to be aired on, Spotify, et cetera, I would always dance to, like, I could not move my body to it.
Okay. Can we do this? Can that be the outro? We'll have the last thing be the video. Not the video, but because there's no video.
Yeah, yeah, whatever
Okay.
you
I
want. But
just
we
think it'd be
definitely
awkward.
absolutely have to play it.
Yeah. Well, no, because I'm gonna have to share my screen, so it's just gonna be weird for people to like
Well,
go
are
away
we
for 3 minutes
are
and then
we
come back.
wrapping up? I think we're
Yeah,
good.
I think we're pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I think it's the perfect
Um.
way to.
Yeah. I mean, for me, well, one last thing I guess I want to say is, because you were talking about, there was this whole sort of steps to it, or however you want to say it, of like, you know, you love music, you were happy that day,
I
the
was excited because I was getting to see. I always love when you come down, and so
yeah,
there was that joy and excitement and anticipation of spending time with you, quality friend time.
yeah,
And then just want to hear the song,
yeah,
and being at the park, and
yeah.
just yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, I think it's safe to say the little girls had had a good time wherever. I don't know what they did before, but they were having a good time before.
Oh,
because
They were
they didn't
feeling
come up like
amazing.
all sad and then you cheered them up. Like they
Well,
were
no, because
ready for
they
whatever.
were energetically, they were a match to the energy that we had. And that's like that whole magnet, like attracts like, birds of a feather flock together, is like they matched our energy. And so, of course, we attracted them. We don't attract, like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm not going to attract someone who's happy, and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah. But I was going to say, even before that, in time,
Mm-hmm.
Corey and I had a blast making that recording. Like I remember getting done playing it and being like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad we recorded that. Like that came out really well for
Yeah,
like for the
yeah.
second time we've ever played it together ever." So I mean, I do think that's what's interesting about the law of attraction and the art of allowing for me is that it's not just like all of these amazing pieces kind of have to come together and we can't possibly figure out how to do it in time at all. Like there's
I
no way.
know.
Like
There's no way.
if we
Yeah,
set out,
yeah.
say, okay, Collin, you need to write a song that is going to be sad and like kind of show two sides to a story, and it's going to be highly danceable, and it's going to have piano when you've never done a song with
Yeah,
piano
yeah,
before.
yeah.
And what you're going to need to do is make some sort of live recording of that song, and then like bring it down somewhere in San Diego, and have Stephanie dance to it, and have everything work out so that five little girls in dresses come out of nowhere and
And
dance with
totally want to dance with her. Like,
you. Yeah.
are so excited and happy
So
they just can't contain
yeah.
themselves. Yeah,
So write that song, Collin.
yeah.
It's over. Like
I
it's over
know,
before it starts.
I
You know what I
know,
mean?
I
Like,
know.
and that's not gonna happen.
And oh my god, this only human comes up because you're only human. Like this, I was just thinking about this as we had talked about
Mm,
um doing this podcast. Was I that kept coming up? Well, because you're only human. Like it's come
yeah,
up a lot for me lately, and kind of what I'm walking through right now is like you're only human. Like, come
yeah.
on. So what a perfect title for.
Well, I think so. And it's funny. It's such a common phrase that it felt very natural to write the lyric that way. It felt very natural. It's in the main thing in the chorus, so it felt like the very easy title to have it be. Um, but I never stopped to think until this moment, like, why is the word only in there? Because obviously we understand human, like we should say, oh well, we're human, we make mistakes, we're imperfect, etc. That's sort of what we're trying to convey. But the only really means, my understanding, is that we're not higher power, we're not God, we're not the universe, but we have this amazing role we can play in how our lives unfold if we work with that force or energy or however you
Oh,
think about it. You know what I mean? Like
oh,
if I try to get into a place, which I've done many times in my life, and I think most people watching have, where it's like something is so important to me that I need to control it, then I am blocking off all this amazing
I
stuff
know, I
that the
know.
universe, because it's
Yeah,
infinite or higher power, however you think,
yeah.
can just infuse all that sort of magical stuff. But it requires me to admit and accept that I am a participant in that magic. I'm not the only one doing it all. You know.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I never thought about. I mean, how many?
Mm,
That was like what 2016. That was like 5 years ago. But I
yeah,
never really thought about that. But that's really what that
yeah.
means to me is that because only sort of sounds like, oh well, it's only that, like it's less than, and I don't think that's the intent of it. It's just like, don't hold yourself to this standard, like in terms of what I was going through in the romantic relationship that ended. Don't, because I think that's what happens when people get dumped sometimes is you go through this thing, which is a human thing of like, well, what could I have done differently,
Mm,
or who could I be differently that would have kept
yeah,
that person around. And
yeah.
it's like, you're not God, you're not the grandmaster of everything. You're an important part that's connected to all that,
Absolutely.
but you're not the whole designer and master of it.
Yeah,
So don't hold yourself responsible for the consequences of something that you didn't have any control over. It you're
right.
only human. But
Yeah,
so it's like, take the pressure off yourself because you're only human,
yeah,
but also
yeah.
realize that being only human, you have this magical connection you can hook up to, and amazing
Absolutely.
things can happen out of bad experiences.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, look what came out of that.
Yeah.
So much
So,
good.
all right,
Mm.
we will
Okay.
we'll play the song for everybody. at the here, and let me get my okay, my closing script is not here. Hold on 1 second.
It's all good.
Live video. Even though
So we do the closing first, and then we're going to totally end with the song.
Yeah, we're going to totally
Is that the plan? Okay, got it.
Oh, but let me get it, actually. Like, what is happening to the show right now? It's just, it was going so well.
We're only human.
I just want to get the video ready to go. So, yeah, this is it. Okay.
Ready to rock and roll. Oh my God, I haven't heard in a while. This is going to be fun.
All right. So I try to, after that little debacle, just segue seamlessly to the well, thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast.
Yes.
If you feel like to call, I'm only human. I make mistakes. If you feel called to like or subscribe to our podcast or the video here on YouTube, it helps us a lot. We would be very grateful to you. If people want to find you, Stephanie, how can they get a hold of you?
www.powerinjoy.com. POWERINJOY. And I have a free 30-minute discovery session for you if you'd like.
All right. And you can always find me, Collin, at collinworster.com. COLLINWORSTER. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening to the audio version, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching the video version, and we will see you 1 week.
Yay!
Depending on when you're watching this, but we're gonna make another episode a week from today.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching Co-Creation Station, and here is the song "Only Human" by my band Red Treasure. Have a great week. I know grief is natural and I'm supposed to grieve. People say everything happens for a reason, even when love leaves. They say I was a strong one and you were weak, so I'll come out on top eventually. You're only human, just like me. Nobody's perfect, yes I see. We were amazing together, and you made a decision you'll regret forever. Now I'm left here in the dust, but the miracle was us. Don't know what to do. I had my whole life planned with you. Planned with you. Intense pressure built up in your blood. You lost your head in the fear and the rush. But I thought you were strong enough, wise enough, but you could see it through. I thought I meant enough, we meant enough to you. But you're only human, just like me. Nobody's perfect, yes I see. sometimes love stays and sometimes love goes away. We pick up the pieces and move on to the next day. But there's a part of me that it hurts to lose. I'll never get it back, it was my gift to you. But you're only human, just